Hello again, I'm Sarah Ball and I'm a first grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary and I'm here to do some math with you today. For today's lesson you'll need a piece of paper and a pencil, and if you don't have paper or pencil you can still follow along and watch and just do the problems in your mind. So our goal today will be to make sense of word problems. There are so many different situations of word problems. Sometimes we're joining numbers together, sometimes we're separating, sometimes we're comparing numbers, and the unknown, the part that we're trying to solve in the problem, or the unknown, is in many different positions often in word problems, and so the key is to be able to make sense of that and figure out what we need to do to be able to figure out the answer to the word problem. So we really need to be able to visualize what's happening, and so we're going to do something fun today where we take the numbers out of the problem and work through it one step at a time, just picturing what we think might be going on in our minds. So we're going to start with this problem, and as we go, if you are able to and want to pause the video and do a quick sketch on paper, we can do a math model. So remember that a math model is a way to organize your thinking. It's not an artistic drawing, so if you are drawing pictures of dogs, you could just use circles or X's to represent those dogs. It's just a representation of what's going on so you can keep track of your thinking. You want it to be organized and you want it to be precise and easy to be able to see what's going on. So the beginning of our problem goes like this. Some mosquitoes were buzzing around a pond. A frog caught some. So take a minute to just do a quick sketch of what you think is going on in that problem. What are you picturing? How many do you think there might be? How do frogs catch mosquitoes? So just take a minute and sketch what you think is happening. I might do some sketching as well. All right, so there's many different ways you could sketch this out. There's no right answer. My sketch looks like this. I labeled my frog. I heard them say that there was a frog who caught some mosquitoes. And then I have my mosquitoes buzzing around the pond. I heard them say that there were some mosquitoes, so I drew some. I thought there might be 7 mosquitoes buzzing around a pond. Let's see what happens next. We might have to make some adjustments. So the next part of the problem says 10 mosquitoes were buzzing around a pond. A frog caught some. So now you might need to adjust your drawing. Take a second. What changed? What new information do you have? And how can you use that to adjust your drawing? So I now have 10 mosquitoes buzzing around a pond and a frog who caught some. Let's see what happens next. So now it says 10 mosquitoes were buzzing around a pond. A frog caught some. Then there were 7 mosquitoes buzzing around. Now what changed? Why is this number, the new number 7, why is that smaller than our first number, the 10? And how does that help us adjust our drawing? So wow, now we know that there was a frog who caught some mosquitoes, and we know that there were 10, but a frog caught some mosquitoes, and now there are only 7 left. I adjusted my drawing by circling the 7 mosquitoes that were left. And let's see, the last part of our problem says, how many mosquitoes did the frog catch? So the whole thing 10 mosquitoes were buzzing around a pond. A frog caught some. Then there were 7 mosquitoes buzzing around. How many mosquitoes did the frog catch? And so I can see in my model, here we had our 7 that were still there. I can see that the frog must have caught 3 mosquitoes. Let's try another one. So you might need a new piece of paper, or you could turn your paper over. Now you'll kind of see how this goes. We'll do one step at a time, and you can pause the video anytime to work on your picture. So it says, there were some penguins on an iceberg. Some of the penguins were sleeping. So pause the video and take a minute to sketch that out. So I heard some words that gave me some ideas. There were some penguins. The word some means more than one. So in my sketch, I have more than one penguin. I drew 10 penguins. And then it said some of the penguins were sleeping. So again, some means more than one were sleeping. And so I drew some little Z's for the penguins that are sleeping. I thought maybe 3 penguins were sleeping. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. We don't have any numbers so far. You sketch what you think may have happened. Let's see what changes. There were 12 penguins on the ice. Some were sleeping. So what's new? Think about what's new and adjust your model to match what's happening now. There were 12 penguins on the iceberg. Some were sleeping. So I had 10 penguins before. I need to make that 12. And I'm going to keep my 3 that were still sleeping. And let's see what happens next. There were 12 penguins on an iceberg. 5 of them were sleeping. So again, what changed? Why is this number smaller than this number? And how can you adjust your model to fit that? So now we know there were 12 penguins and 5 were sleeping. So I have my 12 penguins, and I changed it so 5 of them were sleeping. And the question is, how many were not sleeping? If you can use your model and you're thinking to figure out how many were not sleeping, I wonder which operation you would use to solve that. Would you be using addition? Maybe you would think of that as subtraction. Would you be joining groups together, separating them apart? So I have 12 penguins on the ice. 5 of them were sleeping. And so I know that there are 7 not sleeping. But my friend drew an equation that looked like this. They said they knew that there were 5 penguins sleeping, and there were some not sleeping, and they knew there were 12 altogether. So their equation looked like this. Either way, they knew that the other part that was missing was 7. So 7 penguins were not sleeping. Thank you for watching and working on understanding and solving word problems today. Remember, our goal was to make sense of word problems, and we did that by taking the numbers out of the equation and really just thinking about what was happening in the story. You can find more math videos on the KSPS website, or if you go to SpokaneSchools.org and find the Learn at Home tab, then you can find more math activities as well. Thanks for watching.